In the world of digital assistants, Amazon's Alexa stands out because it's equipped to handle a host of tasks with just a simple voice command. In this video, we're going to show you how to build an Alexa skill, which is kind of like a voice-activated app for flight booking. All you have to do is speak to your device and tell it your destination, and Alexa handles the rest for you. Partnering with a robust service is key to building a tool of this caliber, which is why you'll use the Amadeus for Developers API. Amadeus for Developers offers a generous free quota, ensuring that you can keep this service complimentary for your users. Its API is a breeze to work with. Even if you're not a fan of directly handling RESTful web services, it offers a variety of SDKs. Plus, with over 30 years in the business, Amadeus' legacy is undeniable. In this video, I'll show you how to use the Amadeus Node SDK to create an Alexa skill that can search flight options and book flights. Let's get started. This app will have three major components. The first is the Amadeus for Developers API, which I'll use to search for and book flights. The second component is an AWS Lambda function, which I'll write with Node.js and the Amadeus Node SDK. The final component is an Alexa skill that will invoke the Lambda function. To follow along, you'll need an Amadeus for Developers account to access the Amadeus API, an AWS account to host the Lambda function, and an Amazon Developers account to create the Alexa skill. The links to all these services are available in the video description below. You'll also need the latest version of Node.js installed. All the code used in this video is available in the GitHub repo linked in the description. If you want to follow along, you can find all the code snippets you'll need there. To start, I'll head over to the Amadeus for Developers dashboard. From the menu, I'll click on My Self-Service Workspace and select Create a New App. I'll give the app a name and click Create. It shows me the API key and API secret here. I'll copy these two values and save them for later. Now I'll write the Lambda function. I'll create a directory and move into it. Then I'll initiate a node project and install the dependencies. The first dependency is, of course, the Amadeus SDK. I'll use this SDK to make calls to the Amadeus API. The next dependency is the Alexa Skills Kit. I'll use this to build my skills. It helps interpret incoming requests and generate responses. The next dependency is the AWS SDK, which I'll use to connect to the database for persisting data between requests. Lastly, the DynamoDB persistence adapter for Alexa skill allows my Alexa skill to easily persist data unique to each user between requests. Now that I've installed my dependencies, I'll create an index.js file, which is where I'll write my Lambda function. I'll start writing the function by importing all of the libraries. Then I'll instantiate my Amadeus client. As you can see, this requires the client ID and client secret, which I copied earlier. To keep things secure, I'll use environment variables instead of embedding the client secret and client ID directly in the code. Next, I'll paste this code, which exports the handler function. This handler function will be invoked when this Lambda runs. This is the entry point of my Lambda. I'm building an Alexa skill and invoking it with the data passed to the handler function. The use of the skill variable in this code might initially seem perplexing. I instantiate it outside the handler function, and then I check if it's not null within the handler. At first glance, you might think that skill would always be undefined, which is correct during the first invocation. However, once a Lambda function is executed, AWS attempts to maintain the function's environment for some time. So while the skill is undefined during the initial invocation, on subsequent invocations, when the function is still warm, AWS will not have to reinitialize the function's environment, including the skill variable. This approach enhances performance and efficiency, particularly for frequently invoked Lambda functions. Now I'll write the handlers for the Alexa skill. I'll begin with the launch request handler. This handler is invoked when the user launches my skill. Every handler will have the same format, an object with a canHandle and handle function. CanHandle will return a Boolean to determine if this handler can handle the current request. The skill will work its way down the list of handlers and stop at the first one that it gets a true response from. Handle will then be invoked to run the business logic associated with your skill and return a response. In my case, the canHandle function will return true only if the input is of the type launch request. The handle function will show a standard greeting and prompt the user for more input. The handler input that is passed to the handle function has a response builder property. I can add various aspects to my response before I invoke the getResponse method. Speak is the text that will be said out loud by Alexa. Reprompt is a method that sets the reprompt text. Reprompting is used when Alexa expects a response from the user but doesn't get one. In this case, the same speech text is used as both the initial response and the reprompt, though they can be different. With simple card contains the text that will appear if the skill is running on a device with a screen, like a smartphone or an Amazon Echo Show. GetResponse is the final method in the chain, and it compiles everything set up by the previous methods into a structured response that the Alexa service can understand and process. Now I need to register the handler. I'll go back to where I created the skill and add the add request handlers function. I'll pass the launch request handler to this function. Before writing the other handlers, I'll write an error handler, which is useful for debugging issues. This handler will also have the same format. The can handle will return true because I want it to always run. The handle function will have an extra error input. I'll simply log the error and reprompt the user to try again. Registering the error handler requires the add error handlers function. Now, I'll create a travel intent handler that will query for flights on a specific date and execute the booking process. For simplicity, some data will be hard-coded, but in a real-world application, you would include additional steps for data gathering. You'll notice I'm using the same structure. The can handle will return true if the incoming request has the travel intent. Alexa uses the term utterance to describe a user's verbal command to activate a skill. An utterance can be a simple phrase like, "Tell me the time," or it can include dynamic elements, known as slots, for variable information. For instance, "Tell me the time in location" has a slot for the location. Later, I'll train Alexa to understand which utterances correspond to which intents and what are its slots. My travel intent will have 3 slots: to city, from city, and date of departure. Pretty self-explanatory. I can extract these slot values using the getSlotValue function in the handle function. The handle function is now async because I'll query the API here. Let's run some sanity checks to ensure all the data is present. Now I'm ready to query the API, which requires the airport codes for the user's destination cities. For testing, I'll use a small mapping that takes city names and returns airport codes for a few hard-coded cities. However, the Amadeus API can also provide airport codes from city names if you want to get more technical. This code queries the Amadeus API to get flights. Just like before, some of the data, like the number of adults, is hard-coded. If you want to make this more dynamic, you'd need to ask the user for more information and gather it in a slot. The response from the API includes a meta.count field that tells me how many flights were found that match the criteria. If there are no flights, I'll ask the user to try again. The rest of the data response is very detailed. It gives me flight times, airport changes, and a bunch of other information. I'll use this code, which will take that data and turn it into more human-friendly text. For simplicity, I'll just take the first 2 entries and loop over the segments array, which considers situations where I might have more than one flight available to get to the destination. Lastly, I'll show the user the options and how long each one will take by defining the format duration function, which converts the duration into more human-friendly text. I'll also register the handler by adding it to the list of registered handlers, just like before. When designing skills, you'll often want information to persist between requests. In this case, I want to present the available options to the user and then allow them to select the option they want. Alexa skills are optimized to handle this persistence using Amazon DynamoDB, a document-based database. I'll add the withPersistence adapter function to the skill builders chain. Here, I'll create the database adapter. I'll use environment variables to supply the table name and region. The create table option tells the adapter to create the table if it's not present. Now, I'll update the travel intent handler to persist data. First, I'll access the attributes manager from the input. Then I'll get any existing persistent attributes from the database. If there are no attributes yet, I'll initialize attributes as an empty object. Next, I'll add or update a property called data in the attributes object, setting it to the data retrieved from flight offers, which contains information about flight options the user might be interested in. Finally, I'll set the persistent attributes and save them in the database. Now, I'll create the booking intent handler, which will book the flight. This time, I'll check for the booking intent in the can handle function. I'll assume the user will say something like select option 1, where 1 represents a slot called selection. I'll return early if this slot is missing. Next, I'll get the data from DynamoDB and return from the function early if this data doesn't exist, meaning no options have been generated until now. At this stage, the user is expected to use the travel intent to search for options before making a selection. I'll paste this next block of code, which tries to book the flight. This looks intimidating, but most of this is just hard-coded details about the user, such as their name and email address. Again, you could add more slots and more interactions to gather this data in production. If the query is successful, it'll return an ID, which I'll share with the user. And finally, I'll register the handler. The Lambda function is now complete, so I'll deploy it. First, I'll zip up the entire folder. Uploading this zip will also upload the Node modules, which helps in speeding up the deployment process. I'll go to the AWS console and search for Lambda. I'll click on Create Function and select Authored from Scratch. And I'll give the Lambda a name and click on Create Function. In this code editor, I'll select Upload from Zip File and upload the zip. To allow the Lambda function to be triggered by an Alexa event, I need to add a trigger. I'll click Add Trigger and search for Alexa. I'll disable the skill ID verification for this tutorial as it saves me from having to create the Alexa skill and then coming back and configuring the Lambda function. If you want to lock down your Lambda function to a particular skill, you must configure skill ID verification. Finally, I'll click on Add to add the trigger. The Lambda function has permission to write to CloudWatch, which is the logging service provided by AWS. This is where any console.log or other terminal outputs get written to. I'll also need to allow the Lambda function to access DynamoDB and create a new table. I'll go to the configuration section and click on Permissions. I'll click on this link to go to the IAM page to configure this role. I'll add an inline policy to this role. I'll search for DynamoDB and then select it. Since I need full read and write access and the ability to create tables, I'll select Get Item, Update Item, Put Item, and Create Table Permissions. Since I haven't created a table yet, I'll give permission to all tables. Then I'll click Next and give the policy a name. Now, when I head back to the Lambda function's configuration, I can see the DynamoDB permissions listed in the summary. Lambda functions have a default timeout of 3 seconds. If the execution of the Lambda function code takes longer than that, the function will return early. Since I'm querying APIs, it's likely my code will take longer to complete. Increasing the timeout to 15 seconds should be enough. In the general configuration section, I'll click Edit and I'll change the timeout to 15 seconds and save it. Now I'll set up the environment variables. I'll click on Environment Variables and then Edit. I'll add the API key and API secret. Then I'll add the table name and AWS region. Next, I'll create the Alexa skill. I've already logged into my Alexa developer console, and I'll go ahead and click Create Skill. I'll give my skill a name and choose English US as the language and click Next. I'll choose Other since my skill doesn't really align with the options available. I'll select a custom model and to provision my own hosting. For the template, I'll choose Start from Scratch and click Next. Then I'll click Create Skill, which will create the skill and build the voice model. This process can take a while, so I'll fast forward the video. Now that the skill has been created, the first thing I need to change is the invocation name. Users can use this name to invoke my skill. This name must be unique throughout Alexa, and you can't change it once you publish the skill. For testing, I'll just write Fun Flight Booking and save it. Under Interaction Model, I'll find the intent page where I can add and configure intents. I'll click on Add Intent and name it Travel Intent. Now I can define all the slots. If you remember, Travel Intent had 3 slots. The From City slot will have the type Amazon.city, as will the To City slot. The Date of Departure slot will have the type Amazon.date. Now I'll create the utterances. In a production app, you need to cover all possible ways a user can invoke the intent. For testing, I'll simply paste a simple phrase like this. The curly braces indicate where the slots will be injected. I'll save the intent and move on to the next intent, which is booking intent. I'll have one slot here named Selection with a number type. I'll add these 2 utterances and save it. Before I build the skill, I'll add the endpoint so that the skill knows how to invoke the Lambda. In the Lambda dashboard, I'll click on Copy ARN. This is the unique identifier for this resource. It's a bit like an internal URL for AWS. I'll go to the endpoint settings and paste this ARN in the default endpoint field. Now I'll save the changes and build the skill. This will take some time, so I'll fast forward again. Okay, now that the skill is built, I can go ahead and test it. I'll click on Test at the top, but by default, testing is disabled, so I'll need to turn it on. I'll open my skill by typing its invocation name, but you can also hold down the microphone button and say the phrase. I'll start the travel intent by pasting a query like this.
I've found 2 flights. Here are 2 options. Option number 1 takes off from LCY and lands at BHD. Flight time would be 1 hour and 15 minutes. Total cost, €135.41. Option number 2 takes off from LCY and lands at BHD. Flight time would be 1 hour and 15 minutes. Total cost, €135.41.
As you can see, it returns a list of flights on this day. If the skill encounters an error, it'll trigger the error handler. I can go to the Lambda dashboard and click on Monitor to see the CloudWatch logs and troubleshoot. And that's it. I've now successfully built an Alexa skill that can search for and book flights. As a reminder, all the code for this tutorial is available on GitHub. The Amadeus API does so much of the heavy lifting for you. It queries all of the databases to get up-to-date information about flights around the world. With its generous free quota and extensive experience, Amadeus for Developers is an ideal partner for your next travel-oriented project. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out all the different tutorials that are available.